Hey everybody, today I'm going to talk about schizophrenia and how I'm going to tell guys about the myths, and I'm going to debunk and let's spill some tea about it. I have been living with schizophrenia since I was 15 and I have it now still, and I believe that I will probably have it for as long as I live. And today I'm going to talk to you guys about theories and also my growth and how I'm accepting it. I'm also not really conforming to it, and also just trying to live my life. So today I have a lot of facts that I searched on, and I'm part of a schizophrenia support group online on Facebook. So I collected quite a lot of information, not just from myself but from other people. And yeah, so basically about antipsychotics. Antipsychotics is the main treatment of schizophrenia, and I think it is a great way to help to manage the symptoms, but it does not cure everything. That's why I say no, I don't like this at all. And I'm really sorry about the noise because my room is still very noisy because of the previous video, and I'm not sure what's happening upstairs. I hope I don't get killed by the weight of the thumping noise and I completely die because it fell on me. So I just want to say that antipsychotics is very bad, honestly. I've been on it. I've been on olanzapine, as you guys know, and I had a lot of weight gain. So basically, ever since I was young, especially with how I had problems growing up and I had to settle it myself. So basically, I've always been a very thin girl. And when I started on olanzapine, which probably was like 14 or 15, but I think 15 years old when I officially started taking olanzapine, and also accidentally put on antidepressants which I didn't need because it just felt suckish, but it's not really depression, so it was really bad. The thing about healthcare is that when you tell them a problem and they just immediately tell you that, especially if a psychiatrist, they'll just give you any medication. I mean, that is what doctors do, but honestly, to be honest, I don't think it is right. But also because I am a anti-psychotic, oh my god, that rhymes. I am really antipsychotics because of my past experiences. I do not wish to go back on that. I know I told you guys I did for one day, and there was only one day and I couldn't take it anymore. And these drugs aren't really something to play with because it can stay in your body for like so long, for many years, and we don't know for how long. Just say years. How many years? Just don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not sure. And then yeah, so this is really not something I play with. The side effects are shown here. It's really bad, but like I said, for what I experienced that time, I gained a lot of weight. So basically I was like from thin to really, obese. I'm not really obese as in like really literally obese, but just like near borderline obese. And I was basically overweight or obese in that term, but I don't like the word obese. Like, come on, like, just because you have a lot of weight doesn't mean you should label yourself that. I think that word is just in itself very monstrous. Like, it's just like in your face kind of thing, which I don't like it. I don't think labels should be really labeled on humans. We're all humans, and I think we can all relate to each other in some ways, especially in mental health. I mean, we're all suffering, so I don't think we're all completely sane. And I think it really kind of affected the way I see myself because I was always skinny. I wasn't always naturally like thick, you know what I mean? But eventually I came to terms with it, and right now I'm obviously no longer skinny. I'm obviously grown up, and I obviously have body changes as a normal human would. So I accepted myself, and I still have, you know, difficulty like really seeing my body and my face as in like an actual way. I always get confused about my face and my body. I don't know why, but I'm okay. It's not really an illness. It's just that I feel weird. Like mirrors scare me because one minute I look in this mirror, the other minute I look in the other mirror, I look like completely two different body shapes. one I feel like a pear, the other one I feel like a thick legend. So I don't know how to feel about that. So yeah, so besides what I told you guys, that I also experienced kind of like tardive dyskinesia. I'm sorry if I don't know how to pronounce, but it's in the picture here I shown you guys. And it's basically like the nerves and everything, and how it affects like how I behave. And also like I would I was acting really weird on that olanzapine, because I guess like, and also other people in the schizophrenia support group has also shared me the same thing. They feel like two different person in a way that, I mean, they are the same, but in a way that how olanzapine or any other drugs, antipsychotics, affected us, it's really very bad, because it takes away like our ability to really think and feel properly. So it is an antipsychotic after all, so it does some changes in the brain. And people with schizophrenia or any other mental health illness, we already have this abnormality in the brain, which I wanted to do like an MRI scan last time, like a brain scan, but I think the doctor just said you shouldn't do this because you are young. And when you are inside the scan, I think maybe women probably would have done that for some kind of like, I don't know, to check something, but my mom did, and she said that when you go inside, you feel like you are falling, and it's really scary. I wouldn't really want to do that anyway, so the doctor just spared my life right there. So I couldn't really see, the brain scan, but that is what happens when you go inside like this really tunnel thing, and then they scan you and you can see your brain. But I don't know right now how, and I really don't know if there is even something wrong with me, because I just live my life like this. Schizophrenia is just basically like hearing voices, seeing hallucinations, and the delusions, which I will come to this part, where I always felt like I wasn't really delusional, but I'm delusional in a way that I could obsess over something, that eventually after I obsess over something, but not really obsessed, like when I just like something, for example, a person, a celebrity, or anything like that, it's okay to like them, but for me it's like it's okay, but then suddenly boom, like everything goes wrong. Like, I mean, I don't really have an imagination, but when you like someone, and when you like a person so much, and when you watch them, and sometimes like my brain cannot think right, so like what I'm seeing is just like hallucination. So I would like hear or like really see that the person or the celebrity is talking bad about me in front of my face, which is what I've been telling you guys in my previous video, and I think I still find it weird, and I still cannot comprehend why I see that, or why I genuinely feel that was real, because it's just like that. It's just my symptoms. It's just one of the most weirdest thing I experienced, and also other hallucinations. But I think when you like someone so much and they do that to you, it's kind of like, damn. Like, but I usually ignore them. That's how I can live without antipsychotics. If you take antipsychotics and you have these major changes to how you really behave because of how this antipsychotic really change just the way you see the world too. I mean, come on, it's just like drugs. You can see how it really have an effect to your body, the side effects I've shown here. So I think it's really just really bad, and people also believe that based on their delusions, which I really just ignore, so I don't really have a heavy importance on it. But other people believe that is V2K, so it's basically voice to skull, which I was really kind of confused because I don't know how to comprehend that. It's basically like sounds being put into our brain, and like how scarecrows land on something and then they will hear this electricity sound, so they wouldn't land on that line or something like that. Yeah, it's just like that. And so they wouldn't really land, they would just go away, because who wants crows around? So yeah, but I don't know how to make sense out of that. But when I read an article a PDF about it. I think it's kind of true that everywhere in each country there is this thing called V2K or being gang stalked, which I was chatting with my online friends with schizophrenia who have that, and we were chatting, and I always hear them. I don't. Sorry, I always hear them tell me about being gang stalked. I mean, we usually just text. We never really call, but they tell me about it, and their fear is really great. As in, they feel like they are being targeted. And I read about it on a PDF, and I agree. It's mainly I just read, and I know the symptoms of it. Not really symptoms. When people describe the symptoms that they have, they are deemed mentally ill or anything like that, and I have a hard time understanding. But you can see that it really affects the nervous system. So like for me, I do sometimes feel like I'm gonna fall, which I don't, but I really do. And it might be my antipsychotics, but this one is just V2K in its pureness and being gang stalked. And also they would like let the individual who is targeted to feel like people are talking bad about them everywhere they go, or they might also feel paranoid, not in the sense that they don't trust, I'm not sure about them, I'm not them, but when they look around everywhere, they hear voices, they might hallucinate too. So basically like me, but everywhere around them they will feel targeted. And for me, I'm not even sure if I am in this, but I think I understand because I have schizophrenia, but I cannot really grasp the whole thing completely. But I do relate to it a lot, and I'm not the type who will let things really like affect me easily, and sometimes they do, but I just want to feel like I want to live my life where I don't have to really fear anything completely because I have been there and I survived, so I don't really have to really think too much about this. But this is really sad because it's happening in US, it's happening in India, it's happening like everywhere. So I'm not even surprised if someone from this country or any other country will tell me that they experienced this. I'm sure there are a lot of people who experience this, and I'm sure they will ask themselves why. I also ask myself why, and I think it's just something that is really very disturbing, and I do not want that to happen, but unfortunately this happens. I don't know how it happens, but it's a theory. But if you were to ask me if I believe it, I do, and it's really hard to grasp it, but I really do believe that it exists, so I wouldn't dismiss this. And the other thing that what I experience with schizophrenia is that I usually have the usual symptoms like hallucinating and hearing voices, and I think the worst part about this is that I'm used to that because I'm used to it every day. I hear those, and being used to is just something that really isn't really a good thing because sometimes people get tired. We're all human, so sometimes we do break down, we need a break, and it's normal. So, but I still experience this every day. It's just that I learn how to cope with it and not let it get the better of me. But when I have this, it's normal. But when I have this another thing, it's abnormal. It's just something I also can't comprehend. I think I don't deserve it, but I feel as though these voices or hallucinations or whatever they are coming from, they have the ability to kind of like hit me in places, and it will like be painful for a few seconds, they will go. But the thing is, they are quite relentless sometimes, so they will always just keep like hitting me or making me feel some sort of pain, which sometimes it comes, and I know like why it is there, because sometimes they will like punch or hit me, my hallucinations, and it is really real because I feel it that it will go away. But the thing is, I've been punched before, and that is really painful, but the pain compared to that and to this is different. It's like you feel the pain a bit, then you go away. But the thing is, I do have headaches sometimes, I do have migraines sometimes, and it's very uncomfortable, right? Yeah, and also that's how it's uncomfortable for me because of how they would like hit my head, or basically just a hit or other things, and they would touch me somewhere I don't want to be touched. It's really creepy, and I am not the only one who experiences this. My friends also experience this. They will feel physically tortured for a while because of being hit, but for me I can say that yeah, it's because of them, because sometimes they will like hit me, or just really make it really obvious, but other times they'll just come and I know that yeah, it's just them because they really hit me. And if I were to describe who is they, I just don't know, because they are people but I don't really know them on a really deep level. Wait, I don't even know anybody on a deep level because I'm very disconnected, but in a way that these are people who are like coming at me. I don't really care about them, they don't care about me. You kind of make it clear this is how we live, but it's really something that I don't want, and I don't know why they're here, so it's a very good question. So it's something for me to like not really care about even more because they're just here. And I think that's the worst part. If you hear voices, hallucinations, it's just like, and I'm used to it, it's just like okay, but when they really hit you and like have this little pain, it's just worse than having hallucinations and voices. I think my friend would tell me that having hallucinations and voices are really scary and creepy, but for me I'm just like, I'm used to it. But I do admit that it's creepy, yes, because apart from these people who usually like I said, sometimes it will go away and they will come back, but mostly I can still like hear them and see them. But sometimes I do have times where I'm completely okay and I'm really not having anything. That's probably when I'm in the dark wanting to go to sleep, but then they would always come back, so they are very relentless, like I said. But to say if schizophrenia is a spiritual thing, like spirituality, I think it was labeled like it is, but for me, let me tell you, my perspective is that I wanted to believe that it is something spiritual, but I never believed that schizophrenia, I mean this label that we put for this whole mess of things we experience, which is very unexplainable, I don't think it is a spiritual kind of gift, because I think this whole thing, when I explain to you guys, it's really something very detrimental. It's really something no one should really experience, and I'm really sad that this happens to a lot of people. And a lot of people with schizophrenia, they just generally don't live long because of antipsychotics, because we have different dosages, we have different antipsychotics that we might take because one is not enough. And it is not something to really label as spiritual, because spiritual is supposed to help you. But in this case, I wouldn't say that, because there's also people who experience hearing voices and believing that angels and God is talking to them, and I think that for me it's really not something to be labeled spiritual, because it's probably just what they hear, and I wouldn't think they would believe it, they would just ignore it. So I wouldn't really judge that, because I wouldn't want it to be spiritual. But the main thing I'm gonna tell you guys is that it's not something to be really messed with, this whole thing. And I think that it is important to really take schizophrenia seriously and all these symptoms seriously, because it's not really something to be played with. And I really hope you guys will stay safe if you experience any of this, and also with schizophrenia. if you have or you think that you're experiencing any of this, because it's not something to play with. And I really don't want anybody with schizophrenia or any of these symptoms that you really experience to really go. So let's all be strong and keep going. So yeah, so my experience with schizophrenia, still, I'm sorry I would say schizophrenia because it is what we describe, but I really don't have it really think schizophrenia is something that is generally real. It's just a label to describe the symptoms, right? So I still have it right now. If you ask me how I really manage it, the thing is, because I cannot explain what I experience, and sometimes I'll do smell things, really really strange foul things like inside me and what they do to me. And basically sometimes I would also experience them making me hallucinate about my past, my mistakes, and I don't really care. It's just like I'm seeing things like a movie kind of thing. Just feel like it wants to make me feel bad, but I don't want to feel bad. I don't feel bad because that's just who I am. Deciding myself in this way is good enough, because if I don't, then it's just gonna be really bad. I just know what they really want, and they're really not good at all. I do hear good voices though. So, and I also see like really funny things that being put in my mind, and I appreciate that, because having this darkness sometimes, most of the time, and then having these really nice voices that make me laugh, or make me see something that makes me laugh, it makes me really relieved in some sense. But I never really care about them, because I'm really just confused about why they're here. So I really just focus on what I'm doing, what I want to do. I'm always thinking about new ideas or what I'm gonna do, what I'm passionate about. Should I research on it? But I actually do think about it, but I never do. But I think one day I will. So maybe I will do videos on YouTube about it, or maybe I'll do my personal research, personal projects. But I have 2 projects that I'm in now, and it's 2 mental health projects that I am in now, and I'm trying to find my stand in it and trying to enjoy it. I don't necessarily have a meaning to it. I think it's great for me to be part of this, and I'm still trying to navigate my way through how do I launch this project forward, how do I make it work even more great. But I just like being in it because I enjoy it. I enjoy seeing my friends on it and just collaborating and like doing a good cause. And yeah, I just want to enjoy what I'm doing, because that's the most important thing. Even though the symptoms might wear me down, but I find it energizing for me to just sit down and like attend meetings, be in a project, do something. I like it a lot. And yeah, so I think that most of the time mental health gets to us badly, but I think what really helps me is just to, I'm always in the present, but to always remain calm and just to assure yourself that everything is going to be okay. Nothing can hurt you, which is ironic what I say, because they do, but nothing can hurt you in a way that you have the power to always remain true to yourself, be yourself, ignore negativity from whatever mental health issues you have, because I think these mental health disorders or the symptoms just makes you feel things that you don't want to feel. And I know it's really scary, because sometimes what they make you feel is just not what you want to feel at all, and most of the times it might just be unnecessary. It might just be what they want you to feel. And I don't really necessarily think it's some spiritual kind of thing, like bad spirits, good spirits. I mean, they're everywhere. I believe that spirits are everywhere, and they are not really all bad. Some are really good. They are just humans who really passed on, but maybe they have unfinished business, and they want to probably guide you. For example, because I'm an intuitive, so sometimes I would feel things with people, not really about places, but with people. So I feel things, and like I would know how things really are. So I'm also a thinker, so you know how you just like collect this information about people. I don't really analyze people, but I just know certain things about people, and then I just have these intuitions that happen to be real, and sometimes my voices play a part in it, or like hallucinations. And I'm just thinking that, was it a forewarning, or was it just something that I already knew? So it's really just really weird. I wouldn't really dismiss whatever that we are thinking or feeling, because I know it might be true, like a gut instinct. And it's something that you yourself should believe in, and not let anyone else influence you. That's all. You have only one life. Do what you want. Do it safely. If you get hurt, laugh it off. Move on. Keep going. That's the motto of life. Just keep going. And yeah, I think nature also helps. If you want to go out and walk, if you want to like enjoy the breeze, if you want to see animals, cats, snails, flowers, they're all nice things to see. Or just walk around and enjoy wherever you're heading. It's also a nice way to do it. I do painting and art, guys, so you can follow my account below, so you can see my drawings and my art. I appreciate if you guys follow me. Also my Instagram, and also I will be putting my mental health initiatives for you guys to follow, and you guys can fill in the form, which I am part of this initiative, and I'm really open to anybody writing to me, and also my friend does this. So we have a form you can fill up if you guys are having any emotional distress, or if you need any emotional support, and we will write to you guys back. And make sure to follow us on our Facebook page so you can see what our advice is. And also, because we are based in SG, I live in Singapore, so you guys can be free to see what we have. But mainly we give Singapore helplines for you guys to dial anytime you guys are in a crisis. So I'm really appreciative if you guys can join me in this cause, support each other, and stay strong in whatever you're facing. And I hope you guys don't feel like you deserve any pain, because you guys deserve the world. So I'm gonna see you in my next video.